Shalom, shalom. First, I want to start off by giving all honor, praises, and infinite glory to Yahweh, Ba'ashem, Yahushua, Ba'ashem, Rakakwadash. Double honors into the elders, apostles, and bishops of GMS Great Millstone who rule well, teach, and edify, and peace and blessings to you, sincere Akim, Wa Aquad, in his household of faith. My name is Yeshaya from the GMS Arizona Church in Ottawa, Arkansas. So, gonna make an edifying video going into this little, article post that a brother had posted. It says fitness supermodel Lonnie Wilson spotted in downtown LA. Her current appearance sparks concern. And as you can see, you got this woman, which looks like a so-called white woman, totally spaced the hell out. You know what I mean? You got no teeth. I mean, the only thing that really transferred is the eye color here. And here in Babylon the Great, man, these women are exalted, by their witchcrafts, man. That makeup is witchcraft, flat out. There's no ifs, ands, or buts about it. Women wake up and they paint their face on, like literally, and they stuff their bras and they get all this Botox and filler. Botox and filler, is getting a whole lot more popular nowadays, man. And at the end of the day, the scriptures say, in the last days, men shall be lovers of themselves. You even got grown-ass men out here getting lip fillers. They're getting jaw fillers now, man. You got men going and getting jawline fillers so that their jawlines are sharper, man. Which, ultimately is folly. You want man titties with a jawline. It's whatever, man. These people are through. Babylon is through. And this is that wine. This is what that wine does to a person. It totally geeks them out. But we got Jeremiah chapter 4 and verse 30. It says, when thou art spoiled, what wilt thou do? Though thou clothest thyself with crimson. These really pointing towards Eve, man. Eve, y'all really be all up in Esau's back pocket, and y'all be decked out head to toe with all your different ornaments and all your whatnots. But it's going to do you no good. It says, thou deckest thyself with ornaments of gold, though thou rentest thy face with paintings, in vain shalt thou make thyself fair, for thy lovers will despise thee, they will seek thy life. And soon enough, man, these women, the scriptures say in Isaiah chapter 32 and 9, because that's really, what's going to be happening here soon. It says, rise up, ye women that are at ease, hear my voice, ye careless daughters, give ear unto my speech. Many days and years ye shall be troubled, ye careless women, for the vintage shall fail, the gathering shall not come. They're not going to be able to, these modern women are not going to be able to live the life that they lived, in a way that they rule over a man. They're not going to be able to call up the police. They're not going to be able to get in, that gathering that they're used to. Women are living in a society where they can, somewhat provide for themselves. They can get a job. They can go to school. They can be a nurse, make, 80 illegitimate $1,000 a year and act like they the boss, just because they get them a new BMW, whatever the fuck it is. These women in Babylon the Great are through, and ultimately, those that aren't reserved, unto a man of the Lord, they're gonna be totally desolate. They're gonna be looking like this mug right here, man. They're gonna be looking crazy, and ultimately they're gonna be ravaged too. These vengeful spirits, they're gonna be taking upon hold everybody who the Lord isn't defending. The Lord is our defense. The Lord is our shield and our buckler. So in a time when all hell is breaking loose, everybody that's outside of that, sanctuary protection is going to be totally struck through. It says, many days and years you shall be troubled, you careless women, for the vintage shall fail, the gathering shall not come. Tremble, you women that are at ease. Be troubled, ye careless ones. Strip you and make you bare, and gird sackcloth upon your loins. They shall lament for the teats of the pleasant fields, for the fruitful vine. They ain't gonna be able to have, their harvest, man. These women are gonna be totally, cut. These Babylonian women, man, they've gotten so used to this lavish, delicious lifestyle that they love so much. Was that Wisdom of Solomon 2 and Salaki. It's been a mad long time since I got this one. Bear with me for 1 second. we'll start at verse 7. It says, man, there's one that kind of goes right into that YOLO spirit. Let's, Lord willing, we catch it here. It says, verse 7, it says, let us fill ourselves with costly wine and ointments. Let no flower of this spring pass by us. Let us crown ourselves with rosebuds before they be withered. Let none of us go without his part of voluptuousness. Let us leave tokens of our joyfulness in every place, for this is our portion and our lot is. Let us oppress the poor man. Let us spare not the widow. No reference to ancient gray hairs of the aged. So basically they just take it into everything, that they want, man. Their voluptuousness. And getting just a simple definition on this word voluptuousness, it goes into their luxury or sensual pleasures. And you even got women out here doing hot yoga. Like you couldn't, just chill at yoga. They out here doing hot yoga. They out there doing the most. They out here doing these weird practices. In Arizona especially, man, they got yoga clubs and they be half naked in Lululemon sets out there, doing some wild shit. They be doing like backflips out there, man. So then that's how we in the end times, bro. When that stuff is ultimately lifted up above everything else. When that stuff is seen to be regular. Reading this real quick, it says, let us examine him with despitefulness and torture, that we may know his meekness and prove his patience. Let us condemn him with a shameful death, for by his own sayings he shall be respected. Such things they did imagine and were deceived, with their own wickedness had blinded them. As for the mysteries of the Lord, they knew them not, neither hoped they for the wages of righteousness, nor discern a reward of blameless souls. For the Lord created man to be immortal and made him to an image of his own eternity. And these people are going to be dead, man, through, for their transgressions. And they look at the prophets, and the prophets are grievous unto them. Those that follow Yahweh Shem Yahushai, you Aquath. The way you Aquath move, it's a fact that you're going to be catching, strays for no reason. The way you Aquath move, if you moving right in the spirit and power of Yahweh Shem Yahushai, the very few of you that are in the right spirit, women hate each other. They're going to be looking at you like you flipping them off with both your hands. Not even just one hand, two hands flipping you off, man. And that spirit's only going to intensify, man. These women are going to be looking for light, and it's only going to be darkness. These women are going to be looking for a way out, because a woman, the apostles go into the fact that women do have a level of intuition. And if a woman knows how to do anything, they know how to survive. And when things are going to get more and more dire, because things are already getting ugly now, when things get more and more dire, they're going to be searching and scheming, trying to find, some type of way out. And there's going to be nothing for them, man. These wicked Babylonian women are going to be thrust through, and even you 2/3, man. You out here, constantly clinging to Esau, Edom. You so-called blacks, Hispanics, and Native American women that's constantly all over Esau, trying to get you an Edomite. You going to see what that Edomite going to do to you, man. He going to kill you, and you going to eat you. That's the type of devil we dealing with, man. It says, Isaiah 2:11 says, the lofty looks of man shall be humbled, and the haughtiness of man shall be bowed down. And Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahushai alone shall be exalted in that day. For the day of the Lord of hosts shall be upon everyone that is proud and lofty, and upon everyone that is lifted up and shall be brought low. The lofty looks of man. Lofty, it means to be imposing height, basically just exalted. Because as we know in the scriptures in Matthew, it says, those that are exalted shall be abased, and those that have been abased shall be exalted in that day. So with all that being said, man, hey, the time is up. The time is up. This is just one woman. This is really what's going to happen to all these other women. Because when those Botox wither out, when the fillers don't get filled no more, when the makeup ain't there, and their cortisol starts spiking, they're going to be looking crazy in a mug, man. But hey, I pray this lesson was edifying. I want to lastly give all honor, praises, and infinite glory to Yahweh, Ba'ashem Yahushua, Ba'ashem Mekakudash, Shalom.